So the division works pretty similar to the multiplication here. However, when we're dividing, we know that the number is going to get reduced, so it's going to get smaller. Now, the way we work with the division now is that, well, let's have a look at the first one here. We've got negative 15 EF, so times E times F, over 10 times F. Now, the thing to be aware of is that if you've got two numbers dividing each other, so 2 divided by 2 will always equal 1, because the number of times that 2 goes into 2 is 1. The same rule applies if we're working with variables. If I said we've got A divided by A, the answer doesn't equal A, it equals 1, because A could represent any number, so it's just dividing the number by itself, so it would still equal 1. Now with this, so knowing that, we can actually cancel out terms that are exactly the same that we're dividing by, because we know the answer will just be 1. So looking back at this first one, let's start with the letters here first. Well, we can see that we've got an E here on top as in numerator, but we don't have an E on the denominator. So E can't divide by anything over here because it's not a common term with anything else on the bottom line. So we just have to leave the E on top. However, we can see that we've got an F here. So the F, and we've got an F on top, and we've got an F on the bottom. So an F divided by an F, so we can see here an A divided by an A will just cancel out. So we can actually put a line through that and a line through that. So they've actually cancelled out, because it just means we've got a 1 left, and a 1 isn't going to affect the expression here. So they cancel out. Then we've got a negative 15, and we've got a positive 10. Now, because it's a negative essentially divided by a positive, we know that then the answer is going to have to be negative. However, when we're having a look at this, we can actually reduce this. This goes back to our fractions when we're simplifying fractions here. So what number goes into both of these? Well, we've got a 10 and we've got a 5. We can see that 5 will go into both of these results here, and that will reduce it as much as it can, simplify it to its smallest term. So 15 divided by 5 equals 3, and then 10 divided by 5 equals 2. So let's have a look at what we've got left now. So we put the equal signs back in, and we can see we've got negative. So the negative on the top divided by a positive will still give us a negative answer, so that stays negative on top. We've got left over a 3, because that's after we simplified it, so we've got 3 left, as well as the E. Now the E hasn't been cancelled out yet, so we keep the E on top. So negative 3E over, then we've got a 2, and we can see that everything else has been cancelled out. So it will just become negative 3E over 2, and that's it. Looking at the second one now, we can see that we've got 14AB, 14 times A times B, divided by 7 BC. Now what this means here is that these essentially represent what it means to put the numbers on the top and the bottom. So this divide sign, we can see, just looks like this. It's a divide sign with a dot on top and bottom. Now they represent numbers that are supposed to go on top as a numerator and the bottom as a denominator. So let's put some in. We've got our divide sign here, which essentially we're just going to be working with fractions now. And we've got 14AB on top, so 14A and B over the top of 7B and C. So 14AB over 7BC. Now we're just going to need to work out here what we're cancelling out. So again, let's start with our letter values. So we've got a on top, but we don't have an A on the bottom, so we can't cancel that one out, so we just leave the A. We can see we've got a B on top and the bottom, so a B divided by a B will cancel out because they are the same value, just like we've got over here. And then we've got a C on the bottom, but we don't have a C on the top, so we just leave the C on the bottom, so that number doesn't change. What we can also see though is that we've got 14 on top and a 7 on the bottom. Now, when we do our times tables, we can see that 7 will go into 14 and will also go into 7. So we can cancel this out. So 14 divided by 7 equals 2. And 7 divided by 7 will give us an answer of 1. Now, I've still put the 1 there, but just have a look at what we do with it in a moment. So now we can just rewrite the lines of working out that we've got, and we've got a 2 remaining on top with an a, so it becomes 2a over, and then we can see what we've got on the bottom is 1c. Now I'm just going to put the c down. We're not going to put the 1 because we know that if I put a 1 here, it just means 1 times c, which is just still c. Any number that 1 times is just will always be itself. So this one here will just remain as a c. So the end answer is 2a over c. So I hope that's helped out.